Good morrow. It is the GCS takeover. I'm MKT, and it is the fifth day, a day where you still shouldn't be saying Happy New Year or compliments of the season or whatever, because we're well into the year now. Let's get into it. I hope you had a great holiday. If you are still on holiday, I'm super happy for you. I hope you're in a great location. I'm not alone this morning. I'm with Simphiwe Mtetwa. How are you, Simphiwe?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm having ginger tea. Um,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
as the young kids are
Did you add
saying, I,
honey
I
to
stay
it?
blessed. I did not add honey.
What, do you just have it just J with the T?
Of course.
Oh, okay. So you
Well,
don't add any
so
sweetness, anything, just zhuzh it up, bring out the flavor?
you know what? Before we get into the sugar thing, I just want to say we'll come back to that. We'll come back to the sugar thing because there was a whole situation in the office yesterday, and our office is semi back at work. Some people are still working at home. Simphiwe and Aaron, he Homelemo comes to the office, so there's quite a bit of buzz still. I think a lot of the experiences of the holiday have come into this, and people haven't gotten back to normal life yet. And yesterday, Simphiwe took me through an incredible experience of what she thinks an experience is. And maybe it's an age divide. I don't know what it is, but I'll let the people decide. Anyway, something that I wanted to get started on. Simphiwe, so you saw that the Parliament House in Cape Town is on fire? It's just something I wanted to
Yes.
start on because people seem to care, and I seem to be a terrible person for not caring.
Well, you and me are in the same WhatsApp, so but you can say your 2 cents.
Yeah, it was interesting. It looks like they've caught somebody, and obviously Twitter revealing that this man was, I don't know, what do you call it, a vagrant, a man of the one for the streets. So he was living outside Parliament from what it looks like, but that's Twitter. That hasn't been sort of
But you know,
verified by
Twitter
anybody.
FBI, hey? There's Twitter FBI is I think we need to employ all the people that be finding things and shenanigans, because they be finding out things. Twitter FBI is way better than any other thing that I've seen. They will dig up, they will pull out
Twitter
receipts,
is incredible.
they will
Yeah.
tell you what you tweeted on the 1st of 1995, and what mood you were in as well.
So some
That's how
people,
good they are.
you're 25 now, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you still, that's super young. Well, that's a great age. It's a great age to be. It's the
See?
age to be actually, because 18's too young, right? Because you don't know anything, number one, right? And you haven't had time to make any money or make any like lasting relationships. At 20, once you get into your mid 20s, at least you've got your university friends, you've gone through sort of a university experience, or you've been at work long enough to kind of be lower management or some like a pet favorite at work or something. So you're starting to maybe earn that next level of money, and you're still young enough to be cool. When you look at Twitter, right, for you, do you still watch the news like on TV? Because I was looking at my little nephew and things like that, how he tells me stuff, and everything was followed by yeah on Twitter, yeah on Twitter. And so for you, are you on Twitter? How do you take news for this generation that's coming next?
So, fun fact, when I was in high school, I made a conscious decision to stop watching the news.
Okay.
I just felt it was just so negative. Like the news was like 25 minutes of bad, 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 and then 5 minutes of sports and weather. I was just like, this is not it. And then I just started, and that's, I think, when I started becoming active on Twitter and I started following accounts that actually tweet sense. Like there's people that tweet nonsense, skitty trolls, but like the people I follow, they I'll be like, oh, okay, this is what's happening in the world. This is what, oh, Donald Trump. Oh, okay, this is what's happening in Parliament, and that's how I find out what's going on in the world. But it also keeps me young because there's new terms. Like I always feel old when I'm on like these social networks because there's new terms for everything, and you're like, wait, when did this happen? Hybo, okay, so we don't do this anymore. Oh, in my time, gosh, guys, like I'm that girl now.
Yeah. No, I think it's an important thing, because social media gets such a bad rap from, and I don't think it's most of the people, just from people in general. It's like, because it's a nasty place, because most people live in their own head. So we all just presume everybody wants us to do well or everyone's nice. Whereas actually, if you think properly, most of human history, not all of it, most of human history is wars and conflict. So what it tells you is actually people are pieces of work. It's just that now you can see it. You know what I mean? Is that most people in the history of mankind have been planning, can I murder that person? Can I pillage that village? Can I steal that artifact? That's what the last 8,000 years have been. It's just that now it's available for you to see. And also, by the way, they can tell you how much they hate you directly. There's no, oh, I heard from Usman Bani. You won't believe what Carol said about you. Carol who now? Yeah, Carol from Front Opposite. She said your man was blah, blah, blah. No. Now people can tell you your head is massive, you're terrible, and your mum's also terrible. She smells. And it's a weird way to communicate, right? But it's where we are now. If there is a bomb exploding in Iraq, think of 9/11, right? So let me give people an example of 9/11. I remember it happening because I kind of just came home with my dad. We were walking through the house, and it's on TV. Like my dad had an office at home, so there was a couple of TVs always on. He had to be with it on the news for what he did for work, right? So I remember seeing it, but the only way I saw it was on TV, right? I didn't have a smartphone with me at the age of however old I was to say, oh, there's a disaster happening now. Plus, you can consume it how you want. You know, people aren't great at consuming bad news, by the way. Like horror is not something we are trained in. And, Aristotle has a great saying is that actually horror is part of the sophistication process. It's a part of civilizing you. You just don't realize it, but you have to be able to know how to consume it, which is why Greek tragedies were so popular back in the day. It was a commentary on the human condition, so you could see yourself. And also, back in the day, what the Greeks used to say was, observing those Greek tragedies doesn't mean you're a monster. What you're doing is humbling yourself to say, oh, I'm capable of that, Whereas now people on Twitter go, oh, you know what? These people are monsters. I can't believe how violent they are. Well, I give you the chance and I push you hard enough. You are capable of anything yourself, Missy or Mister. So I just find, I love social media, by the way, because I think it's taking the mickey. Yeah, I love it.
It's absolutely great. I recently watched The Social Dilemma. And then I was like, yes, guys, I think I need to get off socials, because they were just explaining how like the algorithm is so personalized, right? So what I'm consuming and what you're consuming is two different things, two different worlds. So if I'm for something, I'll be consuming that content and I'll be like, I think the whole world thinks like this. I think everybody is like this. And then Mbulelo on the other side, he's like, nah, everything is, I hate you, this ain't it, like, and everybody is so sad and miserable. And I was just like, wow, that's so interesting that we're living in this world where things are personalized now. It's not even, before the news was, we all watch it at 7:30, we all consume the same thing, we can all talk about, hey, Chomi, did you see what happened? Now it's all different. It's a very different experience, because I could be like, nah, dog, did you see what was trending last night? People were busy calling each other out and saying that you stole my man. What's wrong with you, Chloe? And somebody, something was happening. That's what's trending in my world. And then in your world, isn't this serious? Like Parliament burning buildings, cereal. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And which is also, it opens up a whole new world. And I'd love to know what people have to say about this one, is that it opens up a whole new world in terms of what's important, right? Is that objectively speaking, I might say, like for me, I think There Will Be Blood is the most important thing people should ever see. It's the best movie of all time. And I really think that. But to somebody else, the latest Nike sneakers are the most important thing. Is that what I care about most is who decides what's important? And that's a really important question, right? Because what you don't want to do, and it's where we start finding ourselves now, is pandering to people's emotions. Because so in the field I studied in university is the sciences, right? Is that you need to remove your emotions in order to get to the truth, actually. Because how you feel is a really bad way to get to the truth. And it's the first thing for the first year of chemistry, right? They teach you that. Don't feel. Read the information like it is. Do not interpret. The worst thing you can do is interpret. What do the numbers say? Take that, read it, turn it into stats, and give us the algorithm. That's it. Don't think. Don't think. And now what most people, or not most people, for the first time, you can now interpret how to feel about geopolitics when you did a marketing degree and you can put that on Twitter, and it can be news. By the way, that can be that can be the leading article, which can be super dangerous. By the way,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we need to be able to say that most of the world, right, is not intelligent, and it's okay to say that. By the way, because most people can't do mathematics, and if you can't do mathematics, you can't really think as well as a particle physicist. And I'd like those people, the people who do PhDs, the people who push it to that level, telling me what's important or not. Maybe I'm just an old head.
Morning, guys.
You know, that's Lebang. Hey, Lebang, what's happening?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, very good.
Awesome.
So I think generally, like, it's just an information overload for everybody. I don't think we all need to have access to every single thing that's happening every single time. Like, I'm not going to be able to interpret certain things that, number one, I may not be interested in. Number two, probably have absolutely nothing to do with what I know or what I learn about or what I'm exposed to. Now I must suddenly take everything in and have the ability to, like, unpack it and assess it and make like a proper, a sound opinion, come to a sound conclusion. Like, I know what I'm talking about. No, how? And also, a lot of people aren't willing to admit that they just don't know. Like, people don't want to come across like they don't know. They just want to feel like they know everything about everything. And it's okay if you just don't know. That's fine too,
What do you mean, Lebang?
100%.
Of course, the sun rises from the east. I mean,
Like,
It's
no, East Rand
nice.
or
you know,
Peter Koning says, or it could be Peter, because that's tough. Is Koning Afrikaans? It's always so tough living in South Africa. I wish there was just one way to say everything. But Peter says, Twitter, the toilet of social media. So there's Peter disagreeing with what Simphiwe and I have to say. Listen, it's a new world, right? I think also, as I'm getting older, I can feel myself becoming like my parents. You start to say things like, back in my day, like that's fun. That's fun at a braai, and it's kind of cool to be above stuff a little bit until you have to be in the real world. Because whether you're in the world or not, it's going to carry on, by the way. And, before I say this, I just want to say, I understand people have lost people, right? Obviously, and not just to COVID. People have been passing for, thousands of years now. But in our context, COVID, right, is that, as you've seen, tragically, the world moves on. So whether you're in it or not, the world does not really care about you. You can choose to be in it or not. And you can choose to be, oh, well, music was only in my day. Or you can go, what's up now? There's going to be another, 2 billion people born probably whilst you're still alive. Do you want to talk to them or not? And that's your choice. You can choose that. Or you can choose to be above it. So, but I don't know which one's right. I think, Lebang, you made an incredible point to say, sometimes it's okay just to say, I don't know. And I want to finish off on this. Yeah, I want to finish off on this, on the social media thing. Do you think anything will ever be universally fun again? Or do you just think now the ability for people, because, some people just want to see the world burn. There's a lot of people who, even if something's good, they don't care. Movie, music, a politician may make a good point or whatever. No, that's terrible. I hate them. Will anything ever be fun again, objectively?
Yes.
Look, definitely. Like, we can't sit here and say all the shit has gone to shit. I mean, we know that the shit has gone to shit, but we can't sit here and, like, wallow in it. So, in as much as shit is going to shit, I also think on the opposite end, there's a lot of good that is equally happening, and a lot of, like, positivity that is still being flown into the spaces. But it's trickier now with social media, particularly because I would say that the kids now, like, this is the first generation of kids that are using social media and consuming it so aggressively. So we've never been able to see what the effects are. Like, we can assume, and they can do the numbers and, forecast. The sciences can say, if the kids today keep using social media like this, then in the next 40 years, they're going to struggle with this. So number one, we kind of don't know what we're dealing with. We're just testing the waters. But based on how everybody's consuming it and kind of the negative impacts that it's having, it's quite scary. It's quite scary. We are exposed to angry people, negative people. As you're saying, Mbulelo, if you see a good thing, it could be a flower. Somebody could post a picture of a rose on social media. Yet somebody out there will be like, oh, it's red. How dare you put a red rose? Did you know that red roses come from what? What? There's thorns. Somebody will always find the bad in something good. So I guess as I'm saying, it's just, oh, you have to find a way for you to consume it and for it to make sense for you to find your peace and to keep it moving. Because there'll always be ugly. There'll always be shitty people. There'll always be miserable people. And miserable people love company. They'll try everything for you to be as miserable. So social media is a great place for them to do that. It's a lovely outlet for your own peace. Just, don't overexpose yourself to it. Use it wisely. Mute some words, mute some people, block the bullshit out, and keep it moving.
And
But to also
so,
answer you, Mbulelo, I will say that
yes,
TikTok right now is the app for happiness. Like if you're looking for wholesome vibes, wholesome content, like
yeah.
things where even the comments are just ridiculous. People will be like, please do that again. I was mopping the ocean. And you're like, yeah, what? Like it is such a happy place. And it's I think it's one of those apps right now that if you're looking just for an escape and you're just looking for happiness, peace, love,
Mm.
TikTok is where you're supposed to be. Everything else I think is a bit corrupt, and I think it has it's good, it's bad. You need to figure it out, and as Lebang said, you need to block some people, you need to block some words, do all of that. But TikTok, let's have fun, guys.
I see very happy indeed. Now, I think I may or may not have started something here. Peter is English. Peter is Afrikaans. Well, Peter,
Yeah.
have I got some news for you, right? I worked with a guy, Peter Piper, but actually it was Peter Piper and it was the Peter spelling, and he was my boss for a little while at a place called Afriski. So, Peter, you see, it's not that easy. You've called me out. This is, again, social media now. You see what's happened is Peter's called me out, and now I get to reply immediately.
But
So,
you're doing a clap back. You just like,
yeah,
hey, don't mess with me.
Good.
what's it called? A clapback.
It's a clap back.
Yeah, that's my clapback to Peter/Peter. And Peter, if you're offended by me calling you Afrikaans, I didn't mean it that way. I've got, I'm going to be that guy. I've always wanted this chance in life. I've got lots of Afrikaans friends. Yeah, I've got two Afrikaans friends.
I'm sure you do, Mbulelo. If there's one person in this conversation right now who has Afrikaans friends, it's you, bro. I can tell you that for free. Like, you're the guy.
Oh, wait, what does that mean? Are you saying you would never be friends with Afrikaans people? Lebang, what are you saying here?
Mbulelo, what are you speaking about?
No, what are
in
you
the year 2022? You know what? I think the greatest thing about South Africa is that we have so many differences. You don't just see a name on paper or on your phone and just be able to say, oh, Nomtandazo. You have to sit and say, how do I figure this out? Oh, Nomtandazo. Oh, Van der Merwe. What? I think that's so great, but it's only great when you try. And then you get people that are like, I can't spell that name. I'm not going to even try to say it. Nomdundundedo. Nomkangunjani. That's too hard. That's when it gets
Can I call you
annoying.
Noms? Can I call you Noms? Yeah.
No, you can't call me Noms. My first name is not Noms. It's not Noms on my ID. I've never been Noms. If it was supposed to be Noms, my parents would have named me Noms. It's Nomtandazo. If you can't spell it or pronounce it, ask me, and I will assist you. But at least try. Don't just give up and say, hey, well, did you see the Q and the X and the H? How do we even sound that out? It's so annoying, Samantha. Damn.
Wow.
Okay, I feel like that's a personal attack to me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm one of those people. I'm just like, excuse me, say that again. Oh, okay.
Try.
Do you have a nickname? Oh, Gnomes.
No.
Okay, cool. Let's go with Gnomes. Like, I don't want to butcher your name. I don't want to be swearing at you. So I'm already like, yo,
But
Uteni.
try, girl. Give me, just like, try yourself out. Don't just give up. Because if you give up, Simphiwe, then you're allowing everybody else to give up. Like, if you need to lead by example and at least try. There's a lot of hard names out
I
there.
have a nice name. You see, most of the time when I introduce
Oh,
myself.
sorry, that's a matter of opinion. Whoa. You can't just go ahead and say that. Whoa. You don't just get to say anything. It's social media days. We get clapped back now.
I repeat, I have a nice name. I can't speak on other people's names. My name is Simphiwe Zamegile Mthetha. So when I introduce myself, it's either, hi, I'm Simphiwe, and people will be like, oh, hi, Sims, or hi, Simphiwe, or hi, I'm Zama. And there's no,
No,
like...
sorry. sorry, my name's Gladys Gladys Gordon, and I live in Sandown. Is that Simphiwe? Because in
I've
English,
never heard that.
the P and
I've
the
never
H
seen
is an F. So
You see, I've
Simphiwe,
never heard that. No, I've never.
Simphiwe.
yeah, Simphiwe. It's such a nice name. Is it? Are you Xhosa or what is it
What
actually?
does it mean?
Yeah. Well, what people are you from? So
Are you Xhosa? Yo, as that one kills me. And like sometimes you get it because the word, it's not even just names, right? Because it's long. Like I just came back from Mpumalanga yesterday, and it was so refreshing to be in the rurals where people actually say full words so true and so passionately. You know, getting back to Joburg, it's like, oh, you were, in Mpumalanga, and I'm just like, how do I tell her that it's not Mpumalanga or Mpumalanga? Mpumalanga. And really, if you just stop and say it slow enough, you'll be cool too. I don't get it.
And before people think this is a white people, black people thing, no. Let me tell you something.
No.
As somebody from
No.
Limpopo, I'm so sick and tired of Zulu people saying Limpompo as well. Also, assembly, man, let's attend class, guys. It's not Limpompo.
Okay. Relax, guys. Relax. You can,
Okay.
like just I think you guys are doing a bit too much now. Okay, I think you guys
All right.
are wilding out a bit too much now.
That- that's a
I
bit
feel a
close
bit
to home.
dragged. I feel a bit triggered right now.
Sorry,
So,
Simphiwe.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Simphiwe,
Simphiwe,
that's
sorry.
you.
Sorry.
Simphiwe is defending her tribe, obviously.
Her peeps.
Interesting comment here. Robin says, do you know Dion Mayer's novel Fever? It's set in South Africa during a worldwide pandemic. It must be read if you like thrillers with philosophical depth. I don't know if either of you guys have read. I mean, obviously, Dion Mayer, that human being has taken South African stories to the world. Dion Mayer, all time. I don't know if you guys have read that novel.
not yet.
I'd love to know.
Not in 2022, no.
On my books to
Fever.
read for 2022.
Yeah, Dion Mayer Fever. So if you have read that, I'd love to know. Contact@cliffcentral.com. Let us know. What else is good? Obviously now, history tends to repeat itself anyway. Novels about such things now are obviously booming, right? People are going, oh, I can't believe they wrote it. Well, Spanish flu happened as well. Like the pandemics have happened before. So I can't believe it. And Dion Mayer probably crushed it. Because Dion Mayer's stuff, I believe, has been turned into film, right? I think there's one or two of his novels that have been turned into film. I stand to be corrected there, but an all-timer. So, yeah, man, that name thing is incredible. So, Lebang,
It's real.
electricity, that's awesome, by the way. Really happy for you. Yesterday's we know what happened.
Very
Load
funny.
shedding. Hilarious.
Look,
that's the one. That's actually hilarious. That's
the
so
real thing,
But
and I'll be
we-
honest, and I don't want to make a joke about this, but like the real thing that I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for, is running water. Guys, I didn't think I would see the day where I get on my knees and I ask God for water, because I can't do something as simple as bath, shower, brush my teeth, like drink some water, like when I want. I always have to wait for a truck to come with a JoJo tank to fill up the JoJo tank. Once the JoJo tank is filled, then we take that water, transfer it into buckets. Once it's in buckets, then it's like chaos. I couldn't believe it. Like doing something as simple as showering, I just couldn't get up and go, "Try." I had to wait. And it's that I'm extremely grateful for. And I say thank you, God. And Wi-Fi. Ooh. In the past 3 weeks, I've spent maybe like 2,500 rand. Ask me
What?
on
Malingaga.
data. Every day. Just money going to, and I was fed up. Wi-Fi, water are the two things I can honestly say thank you, God. I'm back in Joburg, the land of the living. And remember, guys, like for me, this is kind of a new experience. I didn't really grow up going to visit granny in like Emakaya or whatever the case. I'm literally like Joburg in and out. In December, I stay at home because this is, what I know. So now, like, I'm marrying into a family that is way more cultured than me. And now I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is,
Whoa.
all right, cool.
Whoa.
So
Sorry.
wait, what?
Did you just drop that you're getting married? Wait a minute.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Candle.
I'm
Aggressive.
still on the well-cultured part. Like, how did
Candle.
they...
Candle. 11, 11, 11, 11. I want to get
Oh,
married. What?
what a passive
All the
aggressive
love
way
lives
to tell
here.
him it's time to put a ring on it.
Oh
What
no,
an
he knows.
extremely.
Oh, he
Oh,
knows.
okay.
He knows.
Wow,
Like after
congratulations.
like the second baby, surely that's the anyway. So
Oh,
electricity.
whoa. Okay. All right, Lebang. Wowzers.
But yeah, guys, like South Africa's like crazy different. There's literally
Yeah.
parts of the country where where we're so privileged and we don't realize it. And then you go to the opposite end and you see the truth and the reality, and it's quite scary. So I think
And
yeah, that
now
was a bit of a
you know what the Tasha's yentas sound like to us, because right now I bet you people from there were thinking, "Whoo,
Ooh,
this
this
is lana
girl.
uziyenza umuntu ngathi akasazithandi." Yes.
dude. Like I'm busy asking questions like, sorry, where do I get water? Sorry, where do I get sorry, how do I fill up that? Do you know how embarrassing that was? But luckily, like yeah, no, the family's really chill. Like they understand that, you know, their son chose a Joburg what. No, they get it. They get it. And also I'm very open to learning. So I'm not sitting there like on this high horse, like bring me water or whatever. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'll figure it out. But it's cool. I'm glad to be back, is the point. And my only hope really is that, you know, to see less and less places stay in that way, to see less, you know, homelands and emakaya really just sit and not improve, and the electricity just not be there and the water just not be there, and not having flushing toilets. And why, you know, that really like made me ponder on stuff. Sure.
And you know, everybody just presumes that Europe is like everything is Munich, right, or Zurich. It's not. Europe is an extremely rural country. Actually, most of Europe is villages. They have they have running water there. They have electricity. So please don't think we shouldn't idealize this notion of people are probably happier that way. Like no. People you idealize that live in Germany, there are people who are super ignorant in Germany, live in villages that have never known a day without insulation in their home. So it's very, very possible. And I think I agree with you there. Before we wrap this up, I want to say Corona's Boring says a good book, The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert Kennedy Jr. and the Spanish flu is covered. All right. Good book, The Real Anthony Fauci. So, hey, this pandemic thing, I don't know where people are with the whole pandemic thing, but I just want to give you an oversight of South Africa right now. So was it New Year's Eve when the restriction for the first time was Asvulen,
The best gift that they
so,
could
but
have
did
given
Cyril
us.
have a big New Year's party or what's up? Why did they decide on? He must have, eh?
Like, I mean, he must give the people what they want. The people did not want a curfew. And he knows that the roads are havoc on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. And this is the one thing that our fellow South Africans wanted. He didn't do a family meeting. Whoop, whoop. We are very happy about that. He did something that we've been saying. If you have any announcements, just tweet it. We'll spread the word. And they did just that. They tweeted it, and everybody knew. Everybody was like, yo, guys, I could curfew. Hey, humanati. And we had a great time. So 2022 is going to be nice.
Yeah. I think after Cyril himself, I think after Cyril himself got COVID, he just kind of woke up to like how to, like he knew he had to adjust how he moves. Because before he got sick, you know, he was just like from an otherness, like, okay, guys, let's meet up every other Sunday. I'm your father. I must talk to you. Give me your time. Hey, I'll do corruption. What? And then he got COVID. He woke up and he's like, okay. I can just tweet everything now. I'll just send a mass email. I think he kind of got a bit of a wake-up call, you know. But at the same time with Cyril, I think his moves are very calculated. You know, let's not get too excited. He opened up the country. Thank you. Timed very, very well on New Year's sharp. Let's see, but my Feb, something else is going to be announced just to distract us or whatever the case is. You can never get too comfortable in, you know, something that the government announces or says that works in our favor, because we know we're going to pay for it somehow.
At some stage, which is, it is important to look after yourself. If you live in this world, politicians have shown themselves, for what I've always believed them to be, incompetent. You have to look after yourself. Tembisa Odendaal. Now that is a firecracker of a name because I don't know. Has Tembisa been married into the Odendaal family? Was Tembisa just given that name? Because Odendaal being Afrikaans and Thembisa, it could be Thembisa. I have to respect that.
It could be Thames. It could be Thames.
Could be Thames, yeah. Could have gone to St. Mary's.
Just try. You guys are not trying, okay?
Yeah, could have gone to hey guys, my name's Tembisa, but you guys can call me Thames. It's okay. That's fine. Tembisa Odendaal says, I introduced myself to my colleague as Tembisa. She says, can I call you T? I say, no, my friends call me T. Stop it.
Nice.
Can I say something on that, right?
Go ahead.
When you introduce yourself and then someone's like, oh, no, can I call you Sims? And you're like, that's actually reserved for people that are close to my heart or my friends. And then they're like, sure, Sims. And you're like, hold up. I did not give you permission to call me Sims. Like, what's wrong with you? Why do you do that? Why do you think that you and I are in the same WhatsApp group? No, we're not.
Because it's an easy way out.
No, but
so are you guys touchy about names? Like, is that a thing for you?
Like, I think I've got a little bit of trauma with it. Like growing up in primary school, whenever I'd get like an award in assembly, it's like the principal would purposefully so my surname is Khosana, which is quite simple. Kgosana. Nope.
Hey, but
Lebang Gagazana, please come up to the stage. I was like, Gagazana. I literally looked around and my era, in like my grade 3, Lebang did nothing to correct the man. I just kind of kept it moving. It was an opportunity for me to grab that mic and say, thank you for the award, sir, but my name is Lebang Khosana. But I didn't because, I mean, I'm a kid and, award, I just kept it moving. Then teachers started doing it. Then it just became a thing. And I mean, that's for me. Can you imagine other kids who have like really, really hard surnames and stuff? So I'm not particularly touchy on names, but I do like to see people try because it's a bit of an insult to not even attempt to really say this name. A name is something very, I think, very special and very precious for your parents to give you that name. Hopefully they didn't just pick it out of, their asses. They just sat and said, yeah, this child really did arrive at a time where the sun was what. It's most of the time it's well thought through, and your name, it represents you, and for the most part, what you can or won't become in your life. So when somebody just butchers it and doesn't attempt to at least say it in its fullness, it's a put off for me. I'm just like turned off, like, peace. We're not meant to be in the same what.
Yeah, if you can figure out conquistador, I think you can figure out Mbulelo. You know what I mean? Like people always go, oh, well, I'm English. Yeah, but you figured out, you figured out, Aritha Balaga.
Yeah.
You figured that out.
Dude,
why can't you?
Like,
no, I'm English. Well, I say, all
have
right.
you seen some of those German names? It's a lot. You try and you say, oh, okay. And if you fail, at least you tried.
I'll say this, right?
I'm
not as traumatized as you guys, but when it does come to nicknames, like I was very vocal to say I don't want to be called SIM card. Like that's not like we don't do that. SIM card as he is, and then
you've been introduced to a SIM card.
Dude, and I'm just like, you can call me Simphiwe, you can call me Sims, you can call me Simi. Like, you want to call me SIM card? I hate you. Don't do that. So that's where my thing is that there's certain nicknames people just want to give you, and you're just like, I don't want that. Like, there's so many other names you can call me. Why that? Why are we doing that? Stop disrespecting my name.
On that note, Ongobote Segale says, sorry, Sims. So there's that as well. You guys
can call me Sims. It's fine. I'm not mad. I mean, I'll tell you if I'm not comfortable. I'll be like, hey, chief, that's not my name. Don't call me that.
Fair enough. Now, I still want to clear up whether it's Tembisa, but Tembisa Odendaal, how did you get that name? Because there's a lot of Tandis, and then they walk in. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that Caucasian skin would walk in. And now...
and it happens, eh?
Yeah, no, it's a big thing.
There was a time when it was in fashion. It was in fashion. I remember there was this Jewish girl who I went to school with, and she had a twin brother. Her brother's name was, I think it was Yannick or something. I forget. It was years ago. But her name was Tandi, and she was just like such a cool, I don't know, it just gave her extra brownie points because, she's the
Yeah.
white girl with the black name, and she like everybody
Yeah.
just gave her like a different kind of respect. It was the funniest thing ever.
So yeah,
She's
Tembisa
one of
Urendal.
us.
That's a cool name. I like that though. I like it when people are moving and grooving, and we live in such an awesome awesome country, So yeah, there's Sims. Onkgopotse says, thoughts and prayers to your whole situation. So contact at cliffcentral.com, by the way. If you are going through this, you're going through the most, maybe, you know what, if you're a South African living in America, a South African in England, in Germany, in Switzerland, and you may come with your KG, and there's a vowel everywhere with us. So we're not shy to put a K next to a Z in South Africa. Perhaps you have that name. How do they say it there? How are you dealing with that whole situation? Because I can, I've been in a situation where my mother is Matlala, and she was in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and worst of all, Switzerland. Matlala. Oh my God. You don't know how many versions of that I've heard across the world. And I go, Jesus. Gee. Wow. Yeah. So wherever you may be, contact at cliffcentral.com. What sort of things are you going through there? On this subject, Raisibek says, even black people can't pronounce some Afrikaans. Lol, even vendor names are difficult. Or some vendor names are difficult for black people. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I always say this, and I think I'm doing God's work here again. And I'm more than happy to say a good thing many times. No, well, you don't know what sort of God's work I'm doing.
Okay.
So obviously we live, for those who don't know, our democracy is really, really young. And we're going through a thing now where Craig and them think Tundi, I'm just dating Tundi. That chick's so hot, whatever. Now, I've given this warning on the MKT show before, and I'm just doing a public service announcement. The harder the language is to say, right, the more I have to warn, and I can only speak to guys. I don't know how ladies think. I say, guys, I'm Xhosa. You need a PhD before you date a Xhosa lady, because you can already hear the language is difficult to say already at the door. That's a warning of on the other side of this now. You can get involved, but so yeah, Venda is a whole different thing, because my grandmother was Venda, and a piece of work, let me just tell you, my favorite piece of work that's ever lived, but they do it different up north. So this thing of thinking I grew up in Sandton and I can get exotic with it. Oh boy. It comes with, there are levels, just throwing that out there. So just saying.
Here's my PSA.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Don't date a Xhosa person. Just don't do it.
Oh my word.
Save yourself that headache.
You guys.
Save yourself that heartbreak. Save yourself that drama, and just don't do it.
What happens?
You guys,
this sounds
part of the problem. Guys, we can't still be pushing that MO. I mean, come on. Like my mother's generation believed that dating Xhosa people is we need to move away from that energy and become less tribalistic and become more together. I'm literally up to here with hearing things like, oh, Zulu people from KZN are like this. Oh, Venda people from up north are like this. Oh, Tswana people are guys, my word. Sure, we've all had experiences. Sure, I've had my own experiences with Xhosa people, but to sit and say, oh, Xhosa people this, we're not gonna get anywhere. And sure, it's all fun and games, but is it all fun and games?
Well,
really? Are we just having a laugh?
No, I'm not having a laugh. I'm Xhosa, and I'm saying I know my answer. I understand why men don't want to date Xhosa women. We are sometimes.
He's speaking from experience. He's definitely this is my truth, and my truth is it's facts. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't bother. Don't come.
Look, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying live with the consequences. That's all I'm saying. I've done God's work, as I say. All right. Breaking news. This will settle, and we'll finish the name conversation here. Tembisa Urendal, married into Urendal, was Siolo. So there we go. That whole thing has been settled. I can sleep tonight. That's a wonderful thing. Mandela's Africa, hey? People coming together. It's a wonderful thing. You love to see it. All right. So Lebang, obviously, whatever you were up to on New Year's must have been awesome. You were with loved ones. The family is growing. You are putting passive-aggressive pressure on your partner to marry you. That's awesome.
Oh, my word.
I love that energy. Oh.
Wow.
Well, you did it just now. Simphiwe,
No, I was saying it because like it just comes out so naturally because like that's obviously like the next guys. I'm not speaking from a place of like guys affirmations. These are conversations that I've had with my partner before. Like we literally set a date. This is not new. You know what? Rule number
Sorry,
one.
I've overstepped
Let me
the
not
mark.
even explain to y'all.
No.
You don't
Rule
owe us
number
anything.
one. No. Rule number one: never tell Mbulelo anything.
Yeah.
Never tell Mbulelo. Mbulelo is the worst. He will instigate something.
Okay. Well, I wish you well for the marriage. Sorry, I brought the wrong energy. I hope the marriage goes according to plan. And oh yeah, please, Lebang, let's also do a public announcement. Black people, can weddings please start on time? I'm sick and tired of pitching up at 3, and then you know what? The tent only goes up at 8. Please, black people, 2022, let's do things differently. Let's come together with time. You know, time is not a suggestion.
We're
Black
getting
people are
there. We're
simply
getting there. Like we absolutely getting.
okay.
Like I've
I
seen
like your
things
energy.
like from where we come from. Like we come from a time of like direness where you had to arrive the day before, like just to it was hectic. I think we're improving on many levels. We're really getting with the times and keeping up with the program. So yes, Mbulelo, let's start things on time, and that goes for any occasion, wedding, mcimbi, whatever.
Yeah.
Like let's just be on time. Let's arrive, and after that, can we go home? Go to your prospective homes. Don't stay in the crib. Don't come and stay and linger and eat and keep drinking. Go home. It's okay.
Yeah. No, we've done God's work this morning. If this country doesn't improve because of us, because of this podcast in 2022, then I don't know if there's any hope. But New Year's for you, Simphiwe. Obviously, again, you're a different generation. How was it? Where were you? Was it awesome? Was there a DJ? 2 DJs? Was there a light box? Because I remember back in my day, a DJ rocking, massive light box behind him. That was the scene.
Old now. No, you're sounding very, very old now. Like things I can't relate to.
Light box. What's that?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh,
like
sorry. I'm
What's
anxious.
a light box, Doug?
What don't you know those LED light boxes? You never been to like when you go to a big and when the beat drops, like with the DJ, the lights
it flickers to
and
the
he's
sound.
in a light box. Yeah,
it's called
LED
a light box.
Well, I don't know. I call it a light box, but let's move on from that. That's not important. How was your New Year's in Piwe? Where were you? I want to know what young people were doing.
Okay, so I was with mates. So we decided to just hang out together and just have like a really great draw. And the night was really good. You know, we had a speaker, so we were playing our own music. We did the countdown, and then we were like, yippee, yeah, woo. And then shortly afterwards, I got asked to leave. So
Wait,
that's
what?
how my
Hold up. Hold up. You got what to leave?
You got asked
they
to
asked
leave.
you to exit. Wait, by who?
Yeah, wait. By who? I love that as a question. Can I just start with the most important part? Why? What did you do?
Yeah.
You know, drama is not my brand. It is absolutely not my brand. And
really?
It is not.
Could have fooled me, Doug.
Yeah. Well, that's a lie. What? But okay.
Yeah, like okay. Now that we're lying, and when the sun is up, okay.
Guys, this is my truth, my whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, so this is what happened. We Happy New Year, woo, right? And we have like a WhatsApp group as mates when we want to hang out. And once upon a time, there was this girl. She was part of the group, and then she decided to leave on her own accord. And she decided this is the best time to get everybody together and kind of talk about the issues that we had before she left. So she's like, "Oh, guys, what was the issue?" That's how she started it. We kept quiet. We just like, okay. And then she's like, "Nah, let's talk about it. Let's get into it." So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna speak my piece. And I said, this was my issue, right? And then homegirl felt some type of way. And she got very touchy, and then she like stood up and left. Mind you, we're at her crib. She stood up and left. And then like a few moments later, her siblings come up to me, and they're like, "What did you say? Your tone was like really, really rude." And I was just like, well, I just kept it 100. She wanted a confrontation, and clearly she wasn't ready for this chat. But hey, we keep moving. And like shortly afterwards, homegirl was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna be disrespected in my own house. So can you please leave?" And I was like, "I guess, sharp, let's go." And I left.
So you guys thought it was a good idea
No,
to
she
sort of
thought.
solve
No, no, no.
this on the 31st
She
of
thought.
December.
She
Y'all, that
thought.
was the time. And you
No,
said,
she
okay,
thought.
yeah, great, let's go.
No, we were like, we don't want to have this chat, and she was insistent. My thing is, if you want to have the chat, let's have the chat. I'm not a confrontational person, but you wanted to have the chat, so I was like, dude, this is the issue. Homegirl got in her feels. It's not my fault. It's like, why are you getting in your feels for something, a conversation you wanted? And then afterwards, she was just like, you know what? Can you leave? I'm not gonna be disrespected in my house. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Look, I think the
But
fact that she left the WhatsApp group in the first place should have been quite telling of like, who she is or how she moves, or the fact that she's not really gelling with you guys. You guys should have just left it there.
thank
But
you.
we did. We did.
Here's
She
what
brought it up.
I have questions.
Okay,
How many
answers.
gins or whatever are you in now? Like because obviously people always say, "Oh, I was drunk." As like, just so I'm clear, I don't take "I was drunk" as an excuse. But let's just play
But
that
that
game.
was not my excuse. I
But
wasn't
were you
even drunk.
drunk? Whoa!
No, I was not. No, I was not.
Was she
Did I
drunk?
have? I don't know. I'm not too sure. I
Oh
don't know.
boy!
I
But
don't
at
know.
what stage did you think going to someone's house and telling them their truth, Simphiwe, would be a good idea
a
now?
good
And
idea.
how old are you? What are you, a child?
Dude,
At what
that's
stage
what I'm
do you think
saying. Like,
it's the equivalent of your partner saying, like, do I look fat in these jeans? The correct answer is you look unbelievable. What you were supposed to do in that situation is we're just happy you're back. You can't now be saying, oh yeah, plus you passive aggressive. Plus I heard you cheated on Skumbuzo. Plus your mom as well isn't your real mom. I heard you were adopted. I mean, what else were you going to bring up? Keep on my file
Wait.
when you're here.
But
what were you guys hoping for? For like
No,
everybody to
No.
hug and kiss, and then by the time it's 5, 4,
No.
3, 2, 1, you're all happy, dude. That just
No.
sounds messy. It sounds like an episode
No.
of Love and Hip Hop.
No, I wish in my heart of hearts, I wish I could have been a bit ratchet. I wish I could have been like, screw you. Okay, you know what? This is actually what I wanted to say, but I didn't do that. I was a lady. My whole thing is if you start the conversation, because I was having a good time with my mates, chilling. You're the one who approaches us. You're the one who's like, I want to talk about this. I want to get this off. I want to, I want to start on a clean slate. And it's like, okay, let's have the chat then. Like, this is the issue. This is
Nah,
it.
dude.
And you get touched. Okay,
Yeah.
sharp.
Not then.
Keep it
You
moving.
should have timed it better. Like if it mattered to you and it mattered to the rest of your friends, you guys would have timed it a lot better and said, okay, cool. Let's all link up at a mutual place at a restaurant around the 3rd or 4th or 5th of January or whatever. Not on New Year's Eve, not at her house when she's obviously in her place of power or whatever the case is. She holds all the cards. If she's calling the shots and saying, we're going to have this conversation, you guys say, yes. We're going to have it at my house. You guys say, yes. We're going to have it on New Year's Eve. You
No, we
guys say,
didn't
yes.
know the chat was gonna happen. We just were like, we're
No,
already there at the
no.
crib.
You
We're
can't
already there
conduct
having
yourself.
a good time.
Yeah.
Simphiwe, you can't conduct yourself like a child and expect to be treated like an adult. Nani, you came. That is amateur hour at
It
its
is.
finest. The correct answer is, you know what, babe? We're just happy to have you back. Get her another drink or whatever.
That's it.
You keep it
Ding.
moving. You
Keep it
have to
moving.
now you want to come. You know what happened there, Simphiwe? Some people don't know that sometimes you can be Robin, and that's okay. There, you wanted your Batman moment. You thought, yeah, guys,
It's
you
my
know what I
chance.
mean? You know what I mean? And now you got to be staring. No, you have to pick your moments. Simphiwe, you deserved what you got. I'm glad she kicked you out of the house. I also probably would kick you out. I'll be honest.
Wow.
Because
Then don't start the chat.
Nah.
Then don't start the chat. No, my whole thing, and I'll stand by this. Don't start the chat then. Like you cannot say, let's have this conversation. Because imagine if I come up to you, Mbulelo, and I'm like, you know what do you think the issue is between you and I? And you tell me, and then I get like all mad as if you're the one who wanted to start and have that conversation. That's my thing. It's not like I was like, yeah, let's talk, baby girl, let's do it. No, you wanted the chat. So clearly you were ready to hear. Because what if I said you're a bitch? Let's just
forget about that person. Simphiwe, that person's not your friend. That's all. It finishes there. Leave that person alone. That person's not your friend. Leave them in 2021. And my boy, just keep it moving. Just like face the front and find people that aren't going to put you in situations like that where you're going to end up having to, defend yourself and be like, no, dog, you don't need people like that in your life. Find people that are going to invite you to their houses, bribe for you, have freaking, cocktails. What? We want mojitos. We want cocktails. We don't want fights. in your house. Nah, forget about that person.
This is the wisdom of a woman who's about to get married. And Lebang,
Oh my
I hear
God.
you. I hear you. Tell them, my sister,
Mbulelo,
tell them.
Mbulelo, please just stop.
Oh,
You're gonna sabotage me. Yesterday you
have I gone
sabotaged
too
me.
far the other way? Because
Yesterday,
I was
yesterday you sabotaged me with the whole king
load
shedding, blah blah blah. I didn't have load shedding, but I kept getting cut off because of your heart. So if you speak about my marriage, don't let those words come out your mouth, please.
I've gone too far the other way now. Now I'm supporting it, but it's too far the other way. That's my bad. Dude69 says, no, Mbulelo, SIM card did the right thing. That chick was gonna act like total drama queen anyway. Love the balls on Simphiwe. So there we go, SIM card. You've got a supporter, you know what I'm saying?
And it's Dude69.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if a person called Dude69 is supporting you and you can't roll with it, then you almost don't deserve a happy 2022. So Dude69, thank you for that support for SIM card there. That's absolutely brilliant. More support coming in. Rusty J says, I agree with Simphiwe. The host shouldn't have pursued the matter. There's a time and a place. There we go. Okay, so maybe Simphiwe or SIM card is in the right here, and maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong perspective. So,
but
ladies
I
and
agree
gentlemen,
with you.
With who? With SIM card? Or
no, with you, Mbulelo, which I didn't think I'd ever see the day where I'm on the same page as you. But with this particular matter, I am just like, yes, absolutely, like 100%. But look, different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely, and they do it different in the East Rand. Yeah, it's the East Rand as well. You have to take that into account that 1 + 1 is 6.9 there. You know what I mean?
I'm never going back to the East Rand ever again. By the way, guys, I drove 6 hours yesterday from Mpumalanga, and literally, like in the 6th hour, I'm at the end of my trip. I have to drop off one of my uncles. Where in the East Rand, I like literally I didn't even see this pothole. This pothole saw me, and then boom, I knock it. And then my car's like giving me warnings, like, yo, tire pressure. When I get to the garage, there's this massive slash in the tire. It's not even fixable. No. It's not even dude, it's 10 p.m. I'm in the car with my kid. I'm tired. I've been driving for hours. All I want to do is go home. Dude, if it weren't for insurance, like, it was just such a chaotic experience. And all I'm going to say is the East Rand is never going to see me again. I should have just gone straight home. Yes, I'm blaming the East Rand for this what happened. Yes.
No.
Yeah, which makes you a bit of a hypocrite.
Question. No. Very important question. Where in the East Rand were you?
Roundabout or something?
Roundabout. You're like 5 minutes away from me. Okay.
So I could have called you and said, hey, Sim, please come through and help me. I didn't even have a spare because like these run flats didn't come with it. So what were you going to do for me? Were you going to assist me? Because I was like really struggling, dude.
Well, she would have probably said, yeah, Simphiwe would have said, oh, I just got kicked out of a house actually, but I just told her the truth. Can you, I tell you what, I'll help you with your tire if you give me a lift home because I just been kicked out of this house.
I have my own whip, don't worry. I would have been able to drive.
It's messy. And then I went onto Twitter and then I noticed like somebody that I'm following, Unkanyez, who's also in the East Rand, had the very same situation. His car was also getting towed. I was like, wow, what are the odds, right? So definitely East Rand, Emoyeni, something in the air. Y'all better start praying.
No. On behalf of people that reside in the East Rand, I'd like to say that the pothole issues is not just an East Rand issue. Have you just seen just going down the road of here by the WEC office? Like, it's a mess. Like, it's just, dude, it's a mess.
I've gone down that road many times in my car and I've been fine. I've never hit a point where I can't fix the tire. Like, it's actually, there's a gaping hole on my run flats. Come on, East Rand.
I'm with you. You know, as a northern suburbs resident, and for our international listeners, the northern suburbs is where you want to live if you're in Joburg. End of conversation. Now, Simphiwe, I'm going to defend you because it's a new energy in 2022.
Okay.
I'll use more courier services to the East Rand. Obviously, I'm not going to go there, but moving forward, I'll courier more stuff to the East Rand, and I think that's a fair balance. But before we wrap up, I'm not an animal. I'm not an animal. Yesterday, and working in and around Cliff Central is one of the biggest treats in the world because the diversity of personalities, and it's the beauty of working in my industry, right? Is that you generally meet people that, number one, are driven. Some are driven by fame, but are driven to be extra, as we say in South Africa. I don't know how to translate this one, but people in our industry are just extra.
Flamboyant.
It's not extra. They're not extra, but extra. And we have an experience at this office called Barrett Edelstein. And I want you to get me correctly. You cannot meet Barrett. You have to experience Barrett. And I love him for this, right? Yesterday, he said the most magical words that I have ever heard. We're in conversation because I was just checking, like, does he watch movies a lot? Does he watch movies by himself? You know, like what's the vibe? I like to know how people consume content because it's my business to know that I'm in content. He said the most magical words. Keep in mind, aliens in 3039, when you find this podcast, that it's 2022. Barrett Edelstein said the most incredible words, the following: I've got 12 episodes of Days of Our Lives taped on my DSTV decoder. And I thought to myself, heavens alive. Yeah.
Right?
No.
I thought, this is amazing. And the way he's saying it as well, it's not like, oh, it's nostalgia or I've got the old ones. It's like, no, I've got 12 episodes. Plus, Barrett said, I influenced the free-to-air channel in South Africa, which may be true, by the way, to get Days of Our Lives on there because it wasn't on SABC anymore. He said he emailed or phoned, I can't remember, into ETV to say, you guys should get, Days of Our Lives. 6 weeks later, he says it was on ETV. So he may have been involved in that. But I just wanted to get your guys' take on this because for me, it was magnificent. It was like seeing a unicorn, hearing somebody say, I've got Days of Our Lives taped 12 episodes on my DSTV decoder. I thought, what? In 2022? So I don't know.
Definitely, I'm not surprised at all because at work, I sit quite closely to Barrett. So I often have these conversations with him. And the first time I really realized what I'm dealing with is when he spoke about a VCR and that, you know, he is recording something on his VCR. And when he gets home, he's going to play that on the VCR. And I was like, Barrett, you have a VCR? He's like, yeah. I was like, And it was from that moment on where I said, you know what? This is just beautiful. When am I going to have a conversation with a person in this time and age where they so confidently own the fact that they are not interested in keeping up with technology? They don't give a rat's ass about streaming. They don't know what a hard drive. They don't care because they know what they've got and it works for them. I felt so at ease and at peace because he chose that and he's fine with it. There's no pressure for him to get like a Netflix account and keep up with the times and, oh, you can't still be using. He's so happy in what he, you know, in where he is. And for me, I marvel at that choice. And I say kudos to Barrett for doing him because that's all I can boil it down to. He's doing him.
Barrett's incredible, isn't he, Simphiwe?
Barrett is something else. Like, every time he walks in here, you know, it's either one or two things that he's definitely going to talk about. Days of Our Lives.
Or Kylie. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, like, those are the only two things that are on Barrett's mind 24/7. I was just shook that he records these episodes. I'm like, you're so invested in this thing. And
the real shock is the Days of Our Lives part. That's the shock. It's Days of Our Lives. That's all we should be talking about. The Days of Our Lives part. Everything else, man.
Dude, and I think back when my gran was obsessed with all these soapies, right? So we used to watch everything from Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, Isitingo, Seven Delon, like even Generation. I just remember a time my gran was so obsessed with these. And now she's just like, hey, I just want to watch good TV. Like, I don't care. And it's like my gran, who's 85, has been able to like get DSTV, be consumed, and be like, it's whatever. Barrett, useselapo. Ha.
No.
Dude,
listen. Rebellious Ruth says, Days of Our Lives, Loving Dallas, and Dynasty. Our parents didn't have the internet. Even VKN, even in 8th Street. What a waste of time. It's Brakpan with money.
Brakpan. Oh, East End.
So yeah, I just thought that was incredible. And to finish off this one, I saw a comment here, which I think I think everybody knows this person. RIP, actually, the real person died. But Corona's Boring says, is Stefano still alive? So for those of you that watch...
Oh, Stefano.
Stefano Temera, yeah.
Barrett
Hey,
just answered this question.
Temera.
Where's Barrett?
Stefano Temera.
Like
Stefano,
Yeah.
I think there's even a song, Stefano Temera.
Yeah,
Stefano Temera.
Yeah. No, that's a legend. That man terrorized. Remember when he haunted, what's her name? Marlena. Yeah, Marlena was possessed. Marlena had to...
demon or something and possessed her. Hey, that guy was way ahead of his time. Like the things he was doing.
Yeah, he was knee deep in Mbulelo back then. Shout out to the boy.
Temera. He's the Thanos of the sort of that world, you know, that whole the bold and Days of Our Lives. So
why isn't it the bold and the beautiful? Why are you saying they're bold?
because you know what I mean.
And why don't we say Days of Our Lives? Why don't we just say days?
Days. Yeah.
Why?
So
Because black people don't like saying full things, okay?
we don't, yeah, but our
Malay,
90
black
days,
people-
Lapo. And
Oh, 90 days.
No.
Either they're bold.
they're bold. So there may be people who don't get the context, but I'm sorry. If you ever were, even if you were in a home where somebody who works at your house was your maid or whatever it may be, she would take over the house for an hour and a half because it would be days. She'd be sitting there days drinking tea. Her feet are up as though she owns the house, or mom, dad, whoever is watching, straight from Days of Our Lives or Days. They're bold, and then straight into what was it, Isiting or something like that would be straight after that. Scandal. Cheryl de Villiers is our Stefano Temer. That lady,
Yeah,
I forget
she
what her
was
name
so
is.
lit. She was lit.
Her and Barker Haynes, phenomenal rivalry. So is Stefano still alive? Hashtag I don't know, but Barrett will tell you he's got 12 episodes taped on a DSTV decoder. Ladies, have an awesome 5th of January, which is today. Thank you so much. And to all of you at home, I hope you have the best time. I hope that this is the best day of your life ever.
Yeah.
And I hope this is taken in the correct context, because I feel like I've swung too far the other way. If nuptials are in your world, I hope they happen. Whoever it may be. Whoever it may be. I'm not saying anybody specific. I want that energy for everybody in 2020.
You are not getting an invite. Just know that. Like, you're just setting yourself up to not get invited to that celebration. And on that note, I bid you adieu.
I bid you adieu to you, Simphiwe, and to everybody at home. For now, the GCS is out.